People in the business never had the opportunity to develop whatever talent they might have.
I need you to wrap it up. I'm sorry.
Even those who graduated from prestigious universities never got the same chance to practice the craft the way I did here in Evanston. Because of that, I was able to make many inroads otherwise would have never been possible. I ask the council to do whatever you can to ensure that ECMC keeps its doors open for the coming years, working at full capacity for present and future Evanstonians who might have a similar dream of working in television or film, and for anyone who might want to express themselves through this art form. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council members. Council and Madam Mayor, first I would like to commend you on the handling.
Sorry, we need your name and address
Oh, I'm
first.
sorry. I'm tired.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Gennaro Jackson, representing Fleet Services.
Thank you.
Council and Madam Mayor, first I would like to commend you on the handling of a very tough budget. I've heard a lot of people speak, and a lot of them with good points. However, I still have not heard any mention from council concerning Fleet Services' current situation. So today, I not only come with concern, but also solutions. The document that has been handed to you details a savings of $59,000. That is justifiable to keep the auto service worker. In this alternative, the service person would take extra responsibilities to eliminate the outsourcing that we do. He would take responsibility for washing trucks 2 days a week, which we currently pay $25,000 annually. Fleet Service will take the responsibility to refurbish sweepers, which now is outsourced to Standard Equipment annually at $25,000 per sweeper. Currently, we use Centos Uniform Company for laundry service. We will give this up and wash our own clothes for a savings of $9,000. Justifiable for one salary. And this alternative still allows proper maintenance to be done on our police fleet.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, George Ritzlin, Chris Radke, Todd Rupenthal at 2601 Central, and David Schuppel at 2606 Central.
Had to leave, so I'm speaking in his place. I'm afraid he didn't save enough copies of this, but it's a very brief statement. It's from the Central Street Business Association. My name is Carolyn Wanglin. I live at 1726 Chancellor, and I'm a former Central Street business person. Closing our branch libraries affects our business district. Not long ago, the city of Evanston spent several $100,000 on a study of Central Street, which concluded that the North Branch Library was the street's economic engine. As business owners, we know that the branch library brings many people to Central Street, who then make purchases at local businesses and dine in area restaurants. Closing the library will leave an unattractive vacancy, which will detract from Central Street's appearance and ambience. Closing the library will be like losing Starbucks or the Spice House or the post office. The success of Central Street depends on having a good mix of retail stores, restaurants, and services. If library patrons go to another library, such as Wilmette, they will take their money and spend it there. We are the small businesses that generate tax revenue and create jobs in Evanston. Reduced sales will harm our ability to do so. The last year has been very difficult for everyone, the city, its residents, and businesses. Losing the branch library will make Central Street less appealing to both businesses and shoppers. Similarly, the South Branch Library contributes to the Chicago Avenue and Main Street districts. Therefore, we ask you to keep our branch libraries open. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Todd Rupenthal, and I own a business on Central Street. I wanted to speak just a moment to Alderman Tendem and Wilson. The idea of closing the library for a certain period of time, the moment that traffic leaves the street, those tenuous businesses that are on that street are greatly in danger. The idea that the business owners there really do want to support this, if they're not there anymore, there's not going to be any support. So we really ask that you not consider that as an option, because that's really, from a business point of view, not a good option. And the other thing that I was also going to state is putting the faith in this group that's getting put together is really, I think, your job as a city council, and not thinking of each of your districts as your own little islands, but supporting the people of this community that want to come together and work with you and find a solution to this can only be a win-win for the whole city as a whole and expand the services to all of your districts. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, I'm filling in for David Shaps. He's going to bed so he can get up early and bake. My name is Liz Shaps, 2222 Colfax and 2126 Central Street. So I'm one of the many Central Street owners that will be negatively impacted by closing the branch libraries. As an owner of Great Harvest Bread Company, we've developed an incredibly strong relationship with the library. We support and sponsor several of their programs, passing out cookies to kids who read and participate in their reading programs. There's not a time that I don't work there that people are bringing bags of books in, and they stop by our store to pick up a slice of bread or buy something from us. And it's a huge win-win for the community. And I think I speak on behalf of a lot of the Central Street merchants that it's a huge win. When people come into the library, whether they're just going to read or they're checking something out, they stop by, they do their other errands, and that will go away. So grandparents, kids, there's not a time that people don't take kids to the library that don't stop by our store, and they do buy other things. And so that's a huge win for us. So I appreciate the effort that's gone into the council members and Madam Mayor, and we just really need to think strongly about making it a win-win for all the merchants on the street. So please keep the libraries open and help us out. Thank you. Thank you. Sharon Smaller, Junad Rizki, Eric Zaslow, Sally Schwartzlow, Rosalie Ziamek. Passing, okay. Junad's coming, all right.
This might be a repeat of what I said, but I'll say it again.
Please, if it's a repeat, don't.
Oh, well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. All right. Basically, I think, what? I just want to ask Wally, say this to Wally, and basically, again, that you really need to give a broad brush overview of what's coming in the next budget cycle, of your assumptions of revenues and expenses, and really what you're going to want for a tax increase, because these council members are making these decisions, I'm not sure they're thinking about what's coming next. So you've got to think of that, and I'm sure you and Marty have a pretty good idea of what's coming next, so they really need that.
Mr. Risky, this city council balanced a $9.5 million budget. They laid off over 40 people. They did not raise any taxes. I think the city council has a pretty darn good idea of the challenges facing this community.
Alderman Rainey.
Madam Mayor and Mr. City Manager, with all due respect, anybody can balance a budget if you fire half of your employees. So, I mean, we could even do better if you'd like us to take maybe 10 or 20 more. I mean, that's not a hard job when you give us all those people to fire. I mean, that's how you balance a budget. You just fire them. It's I understand we have a terrible situation, but we have I think we've made some very bad decisions with very little information. So,
The next speakers are Jen Tina Lee, Charles Sheridan, Gerald Franklin, and Dennis Lawrence. Go ahead. Go ahead. I think she may have gone home.
Charles Sheridan, 2331 Church Street. I think there's a way that we may be able to help plug the budget gap by as much as $2 million, and it's been discussed before, and I hope you seriously consider this. It's been discussed over and over again and never passed, and that is that we have to be more businesslike in dealing with developers and income-generating nonprofits. Is there any good reason why we can't charge the income-generating nonprofits for fire and police services? That's one thing. I mean, it could be a huge amount of money. I know they're like sacred cows, but this is a serious year, and we have to consider serious things. The other thing is I have identified at least one developer that owes the city up to $500,000. And I've been through this on committee with Alderman Batiste, and it has not been resolved. And I've tried to find out what's going on here. There's $392,000 that I can't find out why the city is excusing this developer from paying. And I've filed a number of FOIA letters, and I cannot get any response to this. And so there's a veil of secrecy here about this $392,000, and I like to find out just what's going on. Okay. And it could be a substantial amount of money towards closing the city budget gap. And there's other developers.
We need you to wrap up. We do need you to wrap up.
Okay. I think you should look at all other developers to find out if they met their community agreements, because there may be some other funds that you could use to close the city budget gap if you make these developers honor their agreements. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Rick Thomas, Flo Ectes, Rebecca Lindell, Chris Sky, and Lori Keenan.
Madam Mayor, City Council, Rick Thomas, Executive Vice President, ASME, Local 1891. I work in the Parks Department, and I am a part of the budgeting process. But it's really not about me. I understand you guys got to do what you have to do. I understand that Kevin Johnson, our president, has given you all a package, and I would ask in his behalf that you would take a real good look at that, because there are some items in there that would save some folks some jobs that are currently on the list also, especially in one of our custodians over at the Levy Center. I believe there's some custodial contract people that are doing work at the service center. Also, in regards to the power washing, maybe one of our guys from Fleet can take care of that. I'm just here to pass on what you already have, just to name a couple items, and I hope that you would take a real good hard look at it, because they have families as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My name's Lori Keenan. I live at 2214 Colfax. I just wanted to say, on behalf of the people who have worked so hard these past few weeks, I know this was a straw poll tonight, but thank you for the time that you've given us. We will make you proud. We will make this work. Alderman Jean-Baptiste, part of what we are trying to do is bring libraries to all of the community. So I just want you to know, have confidence in us. You've done the hard work. You put the ball in our court, and now it's our turn. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you. Janet?
I'm Janet Messenger. I live at 1102 Grant Street, and I'm taking Tricia's turn. I use the main library all the time. I research Evanston history all the time. When I'm not there, I'm at the Historical Society. Yet, even though I use the main library all the time, I'm also at the branches frequently. And even though I'm not near them, I live right near the Civic Center, so I'm not near those branches, but they are very handy, and they are very nice places to visit. They make you feel like you belong. Not easy in a community of 74,000 people. It's like a sub-community. They have different functions from the main library, Yeah, they circulate books, and their numbers are dramatically rising. They have programs like the summer programs for the children readers. 40% of the participants are at the branch libraries, not at the main library. But they also provide other things. They provide personal connections. They anchor the nearby shops and eateries. In short, they provide a sense of community. Some find communities at church or schools, some through sports or rec centers, some at Levy or the Y, some through clubs and causes, and some find it at the branch library. They've been finding it at the North Branch Library since 1912 because it started in the schools, the one right across the street where Independence Park now is, and the other one at South Branch started in 1917. That's almost 100 years, and we're just, I don't think we can say goodbye to it so fast. Levy started here at Church, where the Church Street Plaza is now, as a teen center. That didn't work out. It evolved into the senior center. The residents...
Janet, I need you to wrap up.
Okay, quick.
Thank you.
You voted to put Levy Center far away from all other activities. The residents vote with their feet. They come to the branch libraries. And I know a couple people said Levy is underactive these days. It's underused, I think was the comment. The library branches are not underused. People vote with their feet. They go where they want to go. They're going to a place that they want to be at, and yet you're saying, let us not fund them anymore. Whereas Levy Center, it's a beautiful facility. And all sorts of money was put back in the budget for them tonight. And I don't understand how you can not want to help two vibrant branches and yet be so excited about a facility.
Janet, I need you to wrap it up.
It's a facility, but nobody would describe the two branches that way. They are communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Rosinski, Trish Steiglitz, Bernice Valentinas, and Jeffrey Roseberry.
Hi, my name's Mary Rosinski. I live at 1729 Chancellor Street, and I want to say thank you for the straw vote in favor of the branch libraries. I know there is a concern about who is the task force. I just wanted to clarify that in the last 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks, about 17, 18 people from around Evanston who didn't all know each other before have come together in a very dynamic group, and I think we have a monumental task out ahead of us, and we're reaching out to the rest of the community saying, we really want any ideas, any expertise, anything, and please come to the libraries with your ideas, share them on branchlove.org, and this hopefully will be the type of commitment from the city which really shows our values and our commitment to education, the children, and people of all ages. I know it's going to be hard, but hopefully we will be able to do this. So I wanted to say thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you.
I'm Bernice Valentinas. I live at 2656 Broadway. I've been a taxpayer in Evanston for over 30 years, and this is the first time that I've ever come to a city council meeting, and didn't realize they lasted this long, and I'm very glad I stayed. What brought me here immediately was the issue about the branch libraries. But my vision and the reason that I'm here is because I'm passionate about Evanston. And the library is one of the city's most valuable assets. I also own a small business, and when you take a look at budgeting and look at the assets that are productive for that small business that draw people to invest in it and buy your products, you have to take a very careful look. And you need a business plan to see where you make cuts. I commend the conversation that I heard tonight, and I thank you for your thoughtful consideration. I quote back to you what one of the members said earlier. I wrote it down. I thought it was so great. And it was related to the ECMC restoration of funds. And the comment was, this has been great thinking on both sides. And that was talking about the city manager and the funding entity. We were thinking outside the box, and that it was a great partnership. I think that that's what we're looking for in terms of the plan for the library. And that
I
the burden...
do need you to wrap up.
Thank you.
Because it's your first meeting. I'm happy to let you go over a little bit, but
I didn't time it. I appreciate the vote that was taken, and I hope that we can continue to find a win-win situation for the city that we all want to continue to invest in and leverage each other's resources for a long-term solution. Thank you very much.
thank you. Stefano Marev, James Walensky, and Melissa Dakic. They are no longer here.
I guess I'm the last one then. How much time I have?
You're
15
here.
minutes?
All right.
No, it's...
Good try.
It's my first meeting here also in 15 years.
We've
I live
heard
in
that
Evanston.
one already. You've got to
That's
come
okay,
up
I'll
with
be very
something
quick.
new.
I'm also here to speak in support of the libraries. I do understand that these are tough economic times and tough decisions have to be made, but I also would like to point out that the decision of closing the library is not something that will be affecting only this year's budget. It will have a long-lasting effect. As one of the previous speakers said, libraries cannot be just open and closed based upon good or bad economic times. So what the statement that at least some of the people here made, that is the city can now really no longer afford to fund the branch libraries. And this is a statement that we really try to make an argument against. There is a lot of us who believe otherwise. So it is, of course, we know that we can all live without branch libraries, nobody dies, but it's a matter of priorities. So when we evaluate other priorities that we hope in the long run Evanston will be able to afford, we should be able to evaluate those priorities against the priority of funding the branch library. It is a priority that should stay in a radar screen, not just washed out our hands and assigned blindly to other people. The reason being that it's something that is dear to our community because it's something that is good for our communities, good for our children, for the low-income people, for the business that it generates, and the sense of community that it creates. So my message here is to encourage you, if possible, not to look at the one-year shortfall to make long-lasting decisions, but to wholeheartedly and enthusiastically support, not just hand off, but support the people who are investing their time and their money in trying to make possible for the branch to stay open. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If we had a motion to adjourn, that might be a good thing.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
City Clerk?
Alderman Grover. Thank you. Alderman Rainey. Alderman Burris. Alderman Fisk. Alderman John Batiste. Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Wilson.
Aye.
Alderman Holmes. Alderman Tindem. Meeting adjourned at 10:55.
All righty.